Hey everybody, Day Trader Rockstar here with you. And this I want to consider one of my most important videos going to come out. We're going to talk trading. We're going to talk the keys, really the keys and to success, and how hard it is to get to those goals, but how easy it is to see the path. The path is laid out for us. We have to develop something internally that makes us take these setups. And I want to show you the setups. I want to show you these. I want to show you the tools that we have to identify this. Not every trade. The first thing I want to go back here, and I'm jumping right into this because I'm always excited talking about futures trading because, it's the matrix for me. It's figuring out the puzzle, the algorithms, everything that has to do with the lines that are moving and why they're moving and momentum and stuff. It really doesn't even matter what's going on. I'm just looking for a pattern, something that from my years of experience has told me this is something to watch for. This is where things happen. So, that's what now, I'm on that road straight and narrow because I know that is the key to, being successful. You have to have that laser sharp discipline. You have to only take the right setups. You can't fight with the market at the end of the day. You can't do a lot of stuff that you would do normally because the market is just there. It's a casino. And I'm not saying that a casino is a bad thing, and a bad thing. It's just that there's no super holy grail trading opportunity in the markets. There's no perfect setup. The market is random as much as it can be. And we put so much attention to every penny and every second and every minute and every 3 minutes and 5 minutes that we're looking for opportunities to make money. So depending on what time frame you use, we're going to try to identify those levels where there's a better chance of making money if you take a trade in that direction. And we have this down to a science. Honestly, it is by far probably the best way of successfully trading if you could manage your emotions and your discipline, because the setups will be there. And really, because we do this every single day, and we know the difference between a great setup and a not so great setup. And there's times to bet big, and there's times to bet small, and there's times to maybe walk away. All right, this is a you want to call it a business. I like to call it a business. I think that if it is a business, you have to have a business playbook, a plan. It's a business manual. It tells you exactly what to do at what time. So here we have the markets, and for the layman coming and looking at this and saying, well, where do you, if I come into someone and say, all right, where would you want, let's take a look at this chart. I'm making this up as I go along. Let's see what we can do here. All right, we'll say this chart. I said, if you were to buy and sell, where would you want to buy and sell? So people would automatically, look at a chart and say, all right, I want to buy the lowest part and sell at the highest part. So, that is, let me see if I could get something easy to write this. I'll do F11. Let me see. Stay in draw mode. That's what I'll do. All right, so you might say, all right, I want to get in here. I want to get out here. That's a great trade. That's where I want to be in. And where do you want to be in? I want to be short here, and I want to be, I want to trade these levels. I'd rather be long here and take it off here. I'd rather be short up here and take it off down here. At least these are the areas that we want to trade in. This is what we're always searching for. What's the best zones to trade in? Now, we have some great setups that identify change of momentum. The stochastic oscillator. The great George Lane developed this oscillator that measures momentum in a stock internally, candle by candle. We're comparing its momentum and the shift of momentum and how that candle is closing each and every period. And we start to see that in the divergence. And we know then that the momentum is shifted even though the price hasn't given us a head start on a great trade. So this is our number one trade. That is the number one go-to trade. And if you can just wait for that setup, you'll be so successful. But no one could sit in front of the computer all day and just say, oh, this is all I want to do, is wait for this setup. Maybe one day, we won't have any. So being realistic and trying to make the best of every situation, we have defined a methodology that defines these areas. What makes this important? What makes this area a good level? What makes this level a good level? And how do we know that's a good buy? How at this point do we know it's going to turn over? A lot of questions. How do we get to these points? So now, again, what you're learning here at Day Trading Radio, you're learning how to do this each and every day, and it's pretty simple when you start to just realize you're looking at stock patterns that that diverge and converge. You can see that really nice one right there. It's like, whoa, hold on, beautiful right there. Really interesting action before a big pop on that. It's 4:30 in the morning. But again, if we were again saying where do you want to buy and where do you want to buy here, I can spot out a very nice divergence here. It's 6 o'clock in the morning. Very easy to spot that divergence for me. It was way off the 20. It was way up here. By the time it came back down, I knew that thing was going back up. We're oversold on multiple time frames, so it was a quad rotation divergence. That's one of our most powerful setups. You might not know what the hell I just said. It might sound like Greek. What the hell did you say? Quad rotation setups with a divergence indicator kicker with a spitter? What the hell? Anyway, it all comes down to finding this. And this is the beauty of trading. And you have to have the patience. They will show up. I will show them to you. I'm setting up everything around identifying this and getting this stuff out. So that's the passion. We know it works. So we have multiple things to help us with this. Now, I'll update you on some of the things right now. And actually, today worked with the bot a lot today. We been watching the bot a lot. It's been really keyed in, and I'm actually looking at part of the bot thing here. This was the tick chart today was really great. I'll go over that in a second. Now, the bot is the RockBot. If you don't know what the RockBot is, it's a NinjaTrader script that runs on your NinjaTrader platform. All right, and it identifies these high probability zones and takes the trades for you, and you set the parameters, how you want it to take the trades, how many contracts, what your profit is, what your stop is, trailing stop, etc. So basically, it automatically enters, but you have to understand it's going to be searching for these setups. Now, this is great because now we have a tool that identifies these zones, which I love. I love having that tool. That's the idea, is not to miss them. We want to still analyze them. We want to take control back to us. We don't know what's underlying the market, right? Conditions and how the markets are acting during the day, and if there's any overhanging news that we have to take account of. So it's not just a plain old buy signal. It's an area where we start to understand this is probably a good area to start getting involved. Let's take a look at the market conditions. Everything looks good. Look for a divergence. Look for maybe quad rotation, whatever. What are we looking for? Well, we got some tools for you. We're looking for all these different things. We're looking for just a sign here. Here's the sign is usually a divergence. Sign's usually a reversal candle with a quad rotation, or just a quad rotation. In this case, I'm saying quad, but there's 3 stochastics here. I left out one on the RockBot channel because I'm not showing it during the day, but typically there'll be 4 stochastics here. So first thing I want to do is run the so much I want to talk about. This was an account that I'm running today on the Bullinox. I have a 50K account for the Bullinox. So I was trying to manage that and do the show. Also trying to get the copy trading going. And I found out that it was a little overwhelming at one point, taking care of everything. So I put this Bullinox onto the RockBot script. I put the script on it and let it run and take the trades live. So that was on the RockBot at the end of the day. I think I used the I think I have these scripts. So we're gonna just And again, looking at a chart like this, if you're new to trading, again, if I ask most people on the street, where would you want to buy and where would you want to sell? Obviously, it would be the bottom, the top, the bottoms, the top. So identifying those levels are key for us. So we know what they look like now after the fact, but can we identify them as they're happening? That is the key. And I think we've gotten that down pretty damn good. Let's so I want to go to. I want to run the. So all right. So I want to run the pure divergence signal is is what we call the Thunderbird buy signal. That is a divergence signal. Now that divergence will happen in any time frame, anywhere on the chart. It's not required to have oversold indicators. It's just it's a divergence setup, which is good either way. The super signal, quad 23, is the Thunderbird buy added with a quad rotation indicator overlay for that. So it's only going to take it when you have a quad rotation and a Thunderbird buy. So it makes sense that if we're going to run the Thunderbird buy, we're going to get a lot more setups. And then if we run the super signal, those setups will disappear. We'll only see the blue lines. So let's do that. Let's do that right now. So let's do it. We're going to run this one. Thunderbird buy. Apply. Well, we got a lot of trades. All right. So here we go. Let's start back here. It's not bad, not bad at all. You could see it didn't grab a spot. It didn't say there was a divergence here. Remember, this is telling us where divergences are. There was a divergence here. Very nice divergence. This was the best divergence of the day. It was around 1140. It was textbook. I'm actually going to take a picture of that and save it because it's worth saving. Again, not really worried about anything other than just looking at the entries on this. The key is to identify these bigger pivot areas. All this trailing stop stuff, that could all be adjusted with the parameters. As long as you're in, you could always have a just a hands-on monitoring. You don't even have to have a profit zone. You could just monitor it. That's what I want people to use the bot for. I want you it gets you in. There's no emotion. It gets you into the weakest parts usually. You're usually up here and it's starting to run and you're like, all right, I'm going to get in now. The bot is going to get you in, no emotion, just because it's a scientific or a mathematical setup. But you can see there's quite a few of them, right? And, it is kind of busy. Some of them pull back. This one actually was a long here, divergence long. But didn't get the first pullback was too much. It held off the divergence long. It was a good setup. It got too choppy here with that one candle. That was at 4 o'clock. Right at 4 o'clock, it chopped up. Again, a lot of these trades you wouldn't take. You wouldn't take the 4 o'clock, or the 3:15 or 3:30, 3:45, 3:50 trade. It's too volatile. We don't like that. We like it up to about 3 o'clock, a little before 3. Also, we know that if we do get a signal and we've been trending down and our 60 period stochastics is trending down, these bounces that we're getting should be taken off on the rotation. Now this is something that we're not going to go into detail on this video, but when you learn the method, the method shows you how to get in, but how do you figure out where to get out? So sometimes things just have to be automatic. And you have to not put the emotion in there and try to hit it right. The object is to be close to being in where you should be close to being in. If it doesn't, complete its, the overall, direction, after looking at the big picture, then maybe, reevaluate. But most of these, even though this is probably choppy, that was a good long. That went all the way higher. This was a great long. And there's a lot of other, every little dip here. Some of them, remember, these are just putting random circles in here. I'm just random circles, like just where I want to be. But I wanted to see if it would identify any of these levels. But quite a bit. So now what I want to do here is actually, because I don't like people running this on the 1 minute time frame. I like it on the 3 minute time frame, or you have to adjust it, but it could get very, it could get very whippy, and that's the 5. So now what we're going to do is we're going to identify, or actually we're going to turn on the super signal quad. So now what we're doing here is we're going to overlay the super signal quad. Super signal quad is going to be a blue line, and it's also going to be a divergence. So now we're going to see how many of those were super signals, and if anything lines up. It's a nice little experiment. Wow, right there. Boom, right in your face, Johnny. Right in your face. Best entry of the day. That was a divergence. I mean, that was a super signal right there. This is on the 1 minute time frame. All right, that's one there. Not seeing too much. See, super signals is going to be much harder because you're going to have a divergence. Even though this was such a high level divergence, this was the quintessential divergence right here. Quintessential divergence. Low, lower low, much higher low, high angle, probably 12, 15 degree angle there. Just a perfect setup and a big runner. And it called a divergence on it. It did call it a divergence, but it wasn't a super signal. It did call it a divergence. But I'm looking for the super signal. All right, I think here's another one. Look at the huge move now. So you have two super signals. Both of them are at the lows. Big moves after the quad rotation super signal. Big moves. Inside the little moves, you have little pullbacks. Very choppy. But again, that's why we use the quad. This will get us out of a lot of the chop. Now, you could throw stuff into these things, but you have to adjust the parameters. Boom, another one. Big move up after a quad rotation. This one, not a big move up, but it moved up. I mean, it moved up. That was a nice move up. I mean, look at the moves. This is a big move up. So not as 1/10 of the amount of trades. But each of these trades, now we'll get rid of the old. Let's get rid of the old one. I'm doing this for the first time with you guys, so let's get rid of this one, and I'll just leave behind the super signal. And there we go. So pretty easy to see which trade you want to be in, right? Yeah, man. Yeah. So again, no, there wasn't any super signals here. But there was divergences here, which we took off. It was very close. But the super signal is a special signal. That's why you should start with it. Start with it because it's going to give you the best shot for the upside. You adjust your parameters. Don't think about this. This is just all parameters out. It's not giving us enough room. I don't have it set. I would let this thing take the entry, put a hard stop in underneath the divergence low. If it's a divergence, if it's anything else, just put a stop under the tick, a tick under the candle low. You're going to have a very conservative, very tight stop, and the potential of the return is going to be so big. And you're going to have the signals for it. So I think I just did an ad for the RockBot script. But you guys, as the members, get the RockBot script for pro members. If you want the script, you can go to patreon.com/daytradingradio. That's patreon.com. You could rent the script and have it run on your machine, the super signal that is. But it's definitely worth it. And you could see these things. And again, I could adjust these. You could always adjust the parameters to capture all this move. If it's very easy to do that. I'm not even going to bother doing it, but you could mess around with it, but you never know. You just want to know when the signal is. I want to get in as best I can right here. And why did it move so much? Well, it has a lot to do with multiple time frames, and that's what the super signal is giving us. It's giving us that 1 minute and 5 minute time frame being lined up, both of them oversold, both of them turning. That gives us a much bigger. 5 1 minute candles to one 5 minute candle. So you get a nice move on the 5 minute here. You get a rotation here. This trade ends up being up, you could be in this trade 10, 15 minutes sometimes. And that's where, That one went up like for about an hour. Anyway, great stuff there. So that's the RockBot super signal, and that's the difference between the super signal and the Thunderbird buy. Thunderbird buy will give you divergences, but they won't take in consideration the overall trend. It'll be much choppier. Now again, you could always put these on. I like putting it on the tick. Tick works great. 300 tick. Now watch it. I don't know. It's gonna. Oh man, look at that. Is that beautiful or what? Like, did it just nail that? I mean, it just comes in like an eagle. All right, no sound effects, Johnny. Let's be professional. I can be professional. Look at that setup. All right, exciting stuff. So the other update, we had another update. We're coding the super signal for TradingView. I just talked to the coder, Shane, and he said it should be done this weekend. So it'll be first version, not I'm hoping for the best, but I know these things we have to go through a process of testing it out. I want to make sure it's up to specs. But yeah, something's coming on that very soon, so that's good. The other thing is the copy trading. I did the copy trade test the other day, and a lot of people weren't connected, so I did a couple posts out there just to kind of tell people to connect back up. I didn't take a copy trade today. I missed one today. I want to take this time right now to explain that this has been a harder challenge for me to do the copy trading and being on top of it and being on top of the show and being on top of chat room and stuff like that and doing all that, because I always want to be perfect on that copy trade. So I've missed some opportunities on that, which I apologize, but I feel that it's still a real good viable thing, and I would be connected to it because know that I'm going to take the next big divergence will be taken. We'll run that. I will be in front of this, when these setups happen, and over time it'll become easier. Like today, I turned on my account and just put it on the super signal. I might do that if I might just put the copy trade on the bot for just a day and monitor it and see how many trades it takes. The issue with that is we have a lot of people connected, and it takes a lot of credits when I'm doing internet trading. Over the internet, so that it just eats up the credits. So many people, so I don't want to scalp too much. So the setup that I'm looking for are more of the 5-minute, 1-minute super signals, the dual the dual time frame divergences, or at least a divergence with a 5-minute, something like we just had here. There was a great divergence. Actually, this is the 300 tick chart. I'm going to go back to that 1-minute chart. I'll show you what This was right here. Look at this. I was so upset. Well, I don't know. Maybe I even took it. Maybe we took it. For some reason, I don't think I did. Oh, yeah, I didn't. I remember because right when I noticed it running away, I said, geez, that's such a big divergence. I called it, I think. Can't remember that far back. But I did call because it bothered me all day. It bothered me a half an hour. I said that was a great setup. It did come back down. Yeah, we did call that because I said this could be a bottom call. It eventually did come back down and take out the lows. But you see how we kind of held that level and we spiked down and then we kind of bounced back up? It was crazy. It just like came down and took it. It was such a good divergence. And I've seen this happen like before. And this is, my conspiracy thing. The sentinels, the bots that are searching and they're looking for those trailing stops. This is no secret, if I'm praising it, I'm sure other people are praising it and other people see it. We still get the reaction off of because it is a mathematical, event, I would say, where we are seeing change in momentum, and that's going to lead to more momentum. And we're going to get that. We're going to get this follow through. So we have to be part of that. And we're not looking to get the best and get out at the best. We're looking to get a little meat off the bone. All right. We want to identify the best levels, get in, have little risk to the downside, and take profits and build that account up. So that's what I want for the copy trading. I want to take this would have, that wasn't a short setup. No, I actually have a short script on here. Let's move that. Let's put the short script on. Short here. And you have that short script too, if you have the bots. And if you need help with them, just email me. So, oh, look at that! Look at that! That was a short right up there. I was just messing around. Look at that! Look at that! Look at that! This divergence short. It was a little higher. But oh man, I mean that crushed it all the way down there. See, again, at the bottom, it caught the really good bottom and never came back down there, but it did have a trailing. It gets a real tight trailing stop. You get setups like this, you want to let them run. You want to do the right thing. You want to always be profiting. So you take profits maybe on your first rotation. You get some profits in. Let something else on there and let it run. And it's funny because lots of times you will come back down to break even, and it'll just take you out and then run. That will happen. So it's up to you, But definitely want to, you don't want to miss taking the divergence. This is a high-level divergence. It never really even dipped down. Also was a quad rotation. That's what you want. You want that quad divergence. That's what a super signal is, quad divergence. And again, that was at the low. That was at 620. And then there was a perfect short up here, and it came right back down. A couple of choppy areas here. Wasn't anything really that I could see. Other than here, this was the big one though. This didn't get picked up on the super signal, but it did get picked up on another. It is a divergence. Anyway, all right. So, copy trading should be active. Make sure you get your follow the directions, and if you need more directions, make sure it's on the MES going into next week. MES. Make sure your internet box is checked, and you have a following account that's checked. You have a following account. I have the RE. I got everyone's. Everyone that put their replicant number into the form that went out, I have you connected. Everything is connected for Monday morning, hopefully. Again, I will stick to the high criteria I have for taking those entries, but everything is ready to go. So I apologize if I'm not trading that enough. I realize that. All right, one last thing we're going to do today is we're actually going to look at I want to look at the Thunderbird buy signal, the Thunderbird buy script. That's not the super signal. That's the regular Thunderbird buy. We're gonna put that on the 300 tick chart. I haven't done this before. I want to check it out, see what it looks like. Then we're going to overlay the super signal on the tick chart. The 300 tick is a great trading chart to trade off of. Totally, just you'll see it. Let's take a look at it right now. Let's apply this, and all right, here we are. All right, so so it takes a transaction, a change in price, a uptick, downtick. It could. There's a lot of there's could be a lot of ticks in one candle. Excuse me. All right, so I just turned it on here. Now you can see, did catch a nice low there. That was good. Here it did try to jump onto something, trailed stop, got in here. This one had a nice little move, but it didn't have. I don't know what we have for a profit and how much that went up. That's only 2 points, so it might be not even caught to 2 points. But again, this is what you're gonna see, because you're gonna get divergences, but you have to have your parameters set. And this type of setup, because the trend is down, you have to calculate that. You could pretty much calculate how many ticks you should get. You can still take these trades. You could get in here and get out here. Instead of having 6 ticks, have 3 ticks, and you'll be banging these out, all the time. But there will be, honestly, divergence long. Some of these don't, roll over. So again, this is just trying this out for the first time, and I'm not really seeing anything I like on it. So let's again let's put now this excuse me, the super signal on. I'm actually gonna, let me take this one off. I'll just replace it with the super signal. Now the super signal is going to put in, and again, this is again on the 300 tick chart. Oh, I have a short on here too. Let's see where we are. Let me start in the beginning here. All right. All right, so there's our first one. That's the really good one. I want to zoom out a little. Let me do it faster. Sorry. So again, you can see that was a good tick long, but it also was a divergence long on something else too. One of the other time frames. Now there was a lot of setups here. Now we only have a couple setups so far. That one's okay. I mean, it's a little decent move. This one's pretty good. It's a decent enough move. This one was great. Went all the way up here to the top. This one was good. There was one here that doesn't look that great. Again, that's a divergence, but it wasn't anything on the tick chart. It did get choppy here. That's interesting. There's a lot of bounce in there. Oh, I also have the short on here too. That's why there's a lot more on there. I kind of was zoomed out a little far. You didn't get a good idea. This is what it is zoomed in. So you can see there was good movement, and you know, pretty decent little bounces. I like when you're feeling that weakness in the market to always watch that 9-3 rotation on the tick chart. It always seems to be a good tell indicator, a good sell indicator. So we got here, up here, we got here. You can see a little bounce. We got right whenever time we hit that green on the 9-3 on the tick chart, it sells. So that's a little tip right there. You know, maybe watch it next week. Remember what I'm saying here, all right? Someone could do some research on it. You know, kind of line it up. I could probably run a fast script on that. So the thing is that we're on a 300 tick chart. Watch the 9-3 rotation above 80. See what happens with the market when that happens. Do we get a pullback? Is there a more significant pullback happening soon? You know, just kind of look back at it, and you could see. You know, you definitely have a couple ticks, a couple candles. Here's one that kind of went against you. But again, this is always watch your 60-10. That 60-10 is going to be important. That was a nice quad. You can see the quads here too. See why that's a quad? Because it's all three. Actually, it's all four. I only have 3 here. Same thing here. This is definitely a great script. I'm looking forward to the TradingView version. See if it matches this one. All right, we're going to end the video on a fast review of the markets today. Today was Friday. The market hitting all-time highs. That's kind of what we looked for this week, is for the market to take out highs, and we did that. Again, we're going into May. May is supposed to be typically a down month. We've been hearing a lot about that, but we're not even worried about that because we're more short-term traders. So this is what this is about. But again, it's about opportunities in the market. If you are a trader short-term, you have to just remember, you got to just look for one thing. Don't try to make something else up. Now, you're not going to have the trained eye unless you start doing this for a long time. But you could start to see what I look at. You know, everything that I look at, I kind of measure out and say, oh, I can see an invisible trend line on top. If there's a trend line on top, there's always a trend line on the bottom making the channel. You just have to find the pivot area and just to keep an eye on it. And when we have something like that, then we start looking for divergences. Now you had a little low here. You could very see it, but I could see that. I could see that the market held above that. I could drop my line right on that candle right there. And you see how high we are? Right there. I could see that. We're way off to 20. We've been pushing up, and we've been drifting down. I saw that, and I like those type of divergences because I could see them, and I don't think anybody else really could see them too well. So I started to call these lip divergences. They're a very small little lip. You can't really even see the dip, but there is a little dip in the price. So that's important to learn that one. This is a good technique, and again, this happens at 6:15 in the morning. This is even a good time to trade because you really don't have like all these algorithms really kicking the market around and playing games. You have kind of a good ebb and flow of the market. We had this kind of in 60-40. This trend has been up. Looking at, would this be a short here? I mean, we want to be realistic in everything we do. I always test and make sure that, if that was a quality, did it work? Or why didn't it work? And what can we learn from that? I mean, it does look like a little short divergence there. It pulled back a couple. It held at 20. I mean, the 60 was kind of moving back up. I mean, that was a tough one. It did move back up right before the market opens too, before it came back down. The top of the trend line here starting to form. We're looking at something. The only thing we see during the day opening up is 9:30. We had a little quad rotation right there. We're looking to see if there was a divergence here, double bottom maybe. It popped and then dropped. Came back down to the trend line. We started to establish that lower channel line. Pop back up to the VWAP. Very sloppy in the morning. Very, very sloppy trading in the morning. Kind of drawing out this channel. And then we got down to this level, which was that wasn't there yet. So this came in after. Finally, we came down to the previous close and the previous low. Remember, we talked about I talked about this in another video. Previous low, previous close, previous high. Very important because they determine if you're going to get higher highs on candles. A lot of candlestick charters out there, place a lot on momentum and making higher highs and higher lows, and lots of times you'll see a lot of resistance up against the top of a candle that was topped out yesterday. So we trade into those a lot. Sometimes you get a signal right into right here, previous close, and a previous low, and you have a divergence. It's like go, go, go. This is the best setup of the day right there. I should have took a copy trade on that. That's what made me upset. Now, eventually came back down. It did. But we're short-term traders. We're not going to be in this more than 7-10 candles on a 1 minute time frame. Usually around 7 minutes, 5 to 7 minutes maybe, if we're lucky. If we're lucky, we're out of there fast. Hit and run. Big pop. If you hit a good divergence, you take a little bit more. You put a little bit more on the table. You bet a little heavier. Good divergences. Deserve that. Lip divergences. Really good. There was a couple there was a nice one here. And we dropped off. And we kind of held above that low. That high back there. Now, I talked to a member today. I was doing a coaching thing, and we were talking about this trend line and what do we do when we have a breakdown and it comes down to a trend line. Well, that happens a lot, especially if there's news, and you can see the volume spiked up here, and this kind of fell off. A lot of times we'll see that breakdown, but it'll come right back up. So if you feel that you have a good, valid trend line and it spikes down through it, and if there's no significant news and we're kind of oversold, lots of times this is what we like to call a stop run, and it reverses right back up. And it's probably worth, and it's the hardest thing to do. It's like, oh my God, you feel like you want to hit that short button. You want to get on news. Something's going on. There's news in our chat room. Something like this happens. Everyone starts screaming, what's the news? Who news? And there's no news. It's just, maybe it's a program trade going out. Algorithms pick up on something. It's just like, it's a bot world now. And most of the time it's phony. You know, most of the times the dips should be bought. So, you know, give yourself a little slack around the trend line. Don't hold on to it like, you know, it's the edge of a building. Let it go through a little. Let it come back. But realize your original trend line is probably good. So if it does break down through it and comes back, the next time it comes down to it, you have to buy it. That is rule number 4. 4. Exactly. Always buy the retest of a trend line that was broken and we came back into it and retested it if it has a history up here. Always. It is the easiest trade in the world. Now, I'll show it you. If I can find one, I'll show it to you. Oh, here. Well, this is a little different. This is a good trend line. This is a breakout and retracement to the trend line. What I want is a breakdown, come back, and then the test. Like here, this kind of broke down, came up, came back down. See how we closed right on that? We never even closed about it, and we popped right on it. So, well, that was not even established yet. That's not even a good example. Anyway, I'm going to go off into a rabbit hole and talk about all kinds of great stuff. But, you know, whenever you do have a good channel and it breaks down and it comes back into the channel, that channel is still very valid. Some other important stuff I'm going to send out. But hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, bear with me. I am slow in getting to everyone. We have a lot of new members. Welcome to the site. And if you need anything, email me, dtrs@daytradingradio.com. And we'll talk in the room.